Our Hall of Fame writer for The Athletic, Jayson Stark, joining us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Jason, what's going on, brother?
Well, Ricky, I'm in Milwaukee. The Phillies aren't. It's really odd.
Yeah, the last time we spoke to you, we were excited that maybe the Phillies were going to come back down 0-2. Didn't happen. Well, look, we got a lot of questions for you about the Phillies offseason, but you always start us off with a stat of the week. What do you got for us?
Okay, here's the stat of the week, Bill. 050. You know what that is? That's the expected batting average of the ball that Andy Paez of the Dodgers hit back to the mound to Orion Kirkring last Thursday. And obviously, we know what happened next. Let me just explain what that means. It means that of all the balls that have been hit like that, since StatCast has been keeping track, in other words, hit that hard, that distance, that launch angle, which was minus 17 degrees, by the way. Like, basically, they're all outs unless something crazy happens, and something crazy happened. So I asked the people at StatCast to take a look at this for me. And I don't know if this will make you feel better, but of all the series-ending plays since they've kept track, and that goes back to 2008, that ball had the lowest probability of anybody reaching base, number one. And I'm not bringing it up to beat up on poor Orion Kirkring because we don't need to pile on that guy. I'm bringing it up because that illustrates to me how small the difference was between the Phillies and the Dodgers in that series. I think you could make a case that the two most important game-changing, series-changing batted balls in that whole series both went 45 feet. You know what I mean? The one to Kirkring, and then that ball Monday in Philadelphia where Trey Turner had to charge it, made a throw that was on the wrong side of the plate where JT just wasn't able to catch it and make a tag. And if those two plays get made, it's very possible the Phillies win those games and win that series. And I'm always thinking about this stuff, guys, like all the what ifs. You know, two broken bat clunkers, and they change lives, they change legacies, they determine who gets fired, who gets traded, and who gets signed, and whose whole career changes. It's just amazing to me, and it happens every year in baseball.
Jason, you just brought that part up. What do the Dodgers think of all this? You've been around them for the last couple of days. What do they think about it?
Yeah, I've been around the Dodgers this week in Milwaukee, Ricky, and I can't tell you how deep the sigh of relief is in their group that they survived that series against the Phillies. They talk about how good the Phillies pitching was, how great it was. They don't know how they scored against the Phillies starters, period. And I almost get that vibe from them that they felt like that series was their World Series. They'll never say that publicly, of course, but I just think they know how even that series was because it's in the numbers. The Phillies out-hit them. They outpitched them. The stats show it. The Phillies just didn't make those plays we just talked about, or maybe get the calls that determines who wins and who loses. And so the Dodgers could easily go on to win the World Series now. And the Phillies, will never be quite the same. But the pitching on both sides was so unhittable. Andrew Friedman, who's the president of baseball ops, said it again last night. He went to the interview room and said, when pitchers are that good and they execute pitches the way the Philly staff did, even the way their staff did, it's impossible to hit. And we made a lot of judgments on the Phillies hitters. In some ways, it's not fair, but I don't know, I've said this to you before. Somehow you have to find a way to score against good pitching in October. And these guys in this lineup just haven't done it now 2 Octobers in a row.
Yeah, that's spot on. We're talking to the one and only Jayson Stark from The Athletic. And you're right. Even though they faced some good pitching, the big stars on this team did not show up again. And it's another disappointing postseason for Philadelphia fans. But now we have to turn our focus to, all right, well, what now? We get the report yesterday. Rob Thomson's job is safe for 2026. So what changes do you see coming, if any, to the Phillies for next season?
Yeah, I honestly don't think that Rob coming back was a surprise. Not even though there's a lot of stuff in there in that series to second guess, but the bottom line is Rob Thomson's been one of the most successful managers over the first 4 years of his career of any manager in history. Never managed a team that missed the playoffs, so it's really hard to fire that guy because fans and callers never they want somebody to take the fall. I get it, and I do think that Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton are listening to those fans. I think there will be changes over the next few months that reflect that. I think it's possible there are some changes coming in the coaching staff. That'll be very interesting. I can't see Nick Castellanos returning. I think they'll make a big effort to trade Alec Boehm a year out from free agency. Does it get bigger than that? It might. If they think Justin Crawford is the left fielder of the future, and they don't think Brandon March is a center fielder, I think he is in play. And then what they go out and do in free agency and on the trade front, I think Dave knows he can't bring this group back intact, and so he will be bold, and that could mean anything.
Bold is interesting to me, but we were just talking about the bullpen. And what are your thoughts on Jose Alvarado for next year?
I wouldn't pick up his option. I wouldn't do it. He let that team down. He wasn't the same when he came back. He wasn't healthy at the end of the year. There's no chance I'd pick up that option. If he feels like he owes it to the Phillies to take a smaller 1 year kind of deal, it's kind of a makeup what happened last year. And he could maybe be back, but I don't see it. They're going to have to look. They want to sign Kyle Schwarber, and it won't stop there. So where's that money coming from? That's one of the guys it has to come from, don't you think?
Yeah, I do.
Now you mentioned
good point.
Yeah, you mentioned they want to sign Kyle Schwarber. I mean, most fans are focused on 3 free agents. It's Schwarber, JT, and Ranger. If they do in fact sign Schwarber, what do you think happens with JT and Ranger Suarez?
Yeah, when I talk to other front offices, they just assume the Phillies are going to do whatever it takes to bring back Kyle Schwarber, and I think he wants to be back. That would be really a shock if he left. Ranger is highly unlikely. He hired Scott Boras. Why do guys hire Scott Boras? You know why, okay? And JT, they want JT back. He's really important to what they do. But there's one I would watch very closely. John Middleton is not going to carry a $400 million payroll. So they signed Kyle Schwarber. What's that going to be? $30-ish million a year. If they want to then take a big swing at a big free agent, I don't know how they can sign a guy like that and keep JT. One thing that John Middleton talks about all the time, if you listen to him, is the parallels between these teams, 2022 through 25, and the 1976 to 1980 Phillies, who endured 4 straight years of great teams and October disappointment, and then suddenly won it all. And if you really look inside that era, what happened after those painful postseason exits in the 1970s? They went out and signed a guy named Pete Rose because they thought of him as a winner, a team changer, as a guy who would light up the city. And so I keep asking myself, is there any free agent out there this winter who could do that? I only see one name, Alex Bregman. He'll be expensive. He's on the wrong side of 30. He was an Astro. There's some stuff that goes with that. But let me ask you guys, what do you think of that idea? Alex Bregman, maybe you let JT walk and trade for some up-and-coming in his prime catcher.
And that would require trading Alec Boehm as well, right?
Yeah.
As I said, I think that's right at the top of their to-do list.
I have a question for you real quick on that part. Okay, I could see the Bregman thing. I think it's a great thought. But when I think of Alec Boehm, all we heard last offseason was that they tried trading him last offseason too. What do you think has changed that teams would want him?
Yeah, the price was very high. I talked to a number of teams that talked to the Phillies about him, and Dave, to my understanding, shopped him as, you're trading for the guy who started the All-Star game at third base. To get a guy like that, you need to give us X. I don't think the price tag will be as high this time around. I don't know how it could be. He's a year from free agency. He's gone from a guy who looked like he's going to hit 50 doubles to a guy who barely hits 20 doubles. It's just different. So maybe you package Alec Bohm with some other stuff to get pieces you need that maybe you can then replace in free agency. I don't know. I just think the equation is different. Dave knows now he has to make the big changes in the group. He's got Aiden Miller looming, who, he's probably not in the picture next year, but he's on the left side of the infield in 2 years if all goes according to plan, or a year, or maybe the middle of next year, or late next year. So it's a different set of circumstances now. That's what I see. You think I'm wrong?
No, and surprisingly, you're making me feel a little bit better, because our biggest concerns were that there wasn't going to be these drastic changes. But you're making me feel better that Dombrowski's going to be bold. You used the exact word bold. I love it, man. Let's do something.
He's done it. I'm a student of Dave. I've been covering him for 25 years, and I've seen him make these kinds of moves in every city he's ever been when the time came where that was the right move. And the problem is, John Middleton has set the bar so high, they don't want to take a step back, not next year, not for 10 years. He wants to be good and stay good. And so that's a tough needle to thread, but I've seen Dave thread it. And I would really be surprised if there aren't some wow moves this winter. You know what I mean?
It's going to be interesting.
We love it, man.
Something has to be done. They cannot run this back again. This fan base will lose it.
Right. And they know that. This is, it's like when you run any business, you have to give your customers what they want. You run at a store, you need items on the shelves that they want to buy. You want to sell tickets, you need players that they want to pay money to see. And regardless of whether the judgment on this group is fair or unfair or whatever, the city has been there, done that with this group. And you need to give them something different in some significant way. Dave knows it. John knows it. How can it not happen?
Well, we love it, my man, and we appreciate you joining us every single week during the season. Hopefully, maybe some big wow moves will happen, and we'll get you back on to talk about it.
You guys know where to find me. Check in any time, but always enjoyed it. Keep up the great work.
We appreciate you. There he is, the one and only Jayson Stark, Hall of Fame writer for The Athletic. I'm going to miss talking to Jayson every week, man.
He's so good. But I love that stat of the week. There's nothing like it.
But he made me feel good. Bold moves coming. Wow moves coming. That makes you feel good, doesn't it?
A wow move scares me a little bit.
I love it, dude. I love it. What's up, everybody? It's Bill Colarulo from Unfiltered with Ricky Bo and Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we post a ton of content. It's not just what you hear on air. We're posting content all day long. We do some things before the show, after the show, even stuff during the show. So subscribe, like, do whatever you got to do. We got all this content coming to you every single day.